Hello, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Samantha Hill. UPROSM and Invent the Future are phrases familiar to most. Coming up, we will bring you stories about UPROSM and Invent the Future, and just how they're not just mottos, but are demonstrated every day. In the first half of our newscast, you will see Invent the Future and what it really means, how it's personified in people, places, and things around us. And later in the show, we will take a look at UPROSM and how it's embodied on and off Virginia Tech's campus. First, a look at Invent the Future. ICAT Day was held recently on Virginia Tech's campus. ICAT Day is a showcase of the work from faculty and students in Virginia Tech's Institute for Creativity, Arts, and Technology. In this first story, Newsfeed reporter Darren Hennessy shows us one group of students from that day that has come up with a way to use 360-degree video to enact change in the community.
The Institute for Creativity, Arts, and Technology at the Moss Arts Center encourages students to invent the future. Sophomores Sarah Hernandez, Kiki Simpson, and Allie Howe have taken their ICAT idea and turned it into an entrepreneurial endeavor for social change.
So Impact Quotient Technologies originated from an ICAT Day retreat where ICAT, or Catalyst faculty and students got together at ICAT on January 29th to formulate ideas and come up with different potential ideas that revolved around ICAT's core principles. One of the ideas that my team came up with was the idea of empathy in 360 video and possibly creating empathy from 360 video. There's certain education prevention that is required by all freshmen at Virginia Tech and all transfers at Virginia Tech to go through and learn about sexual assault through this medium. It's called Haven. That's the model we currently use for sexual assault prevention education. And this Haven model is a quiz, answer, survey format, which isn't very realistic or long-lasting. It doesn't create much empathy. So we think that EQT and 360 video would create more empathy around sexual assault and would be a better education prevention model than Haven. So we would hope to sell our education prevention video, which would be a 360 video on sexual assault, of a sexual assault actual scenario, to the Division of Student Affairs or to Greek Life to help reduce the number of cases of sexual assault and increase empathy around sexual assault.
In making a minimum viable product to present at ICAT Day, the engineering students got some experience shooting and editing 360 video.
We personally did the 6 GoPro setup because it wanted to be as high quality and realistic as it could be. As the process we're in right now is taking a lot longer than we planned for. With the Cube setup we have, there's software that just accounts for all the angles and stitches it together for us. So that is way easier than if you have to calculate that yourself.
With big plans for the future, Impact Quotient Technologies will continue to push for social changes at Virginia Tech. This is Darren Hennessy reporting for the Newsfeed.
More information about Impact Quotient Technologies can be found on facebook.com/impacttech. Virginia Tech has some unlikely students that are taking advantage of the opportunities around campus. Newsfeed reporter Morgan Conklin joins us from the newsroom with more about a child development lab and how the Human Development Department has created a thriving model preschool. Morgan?
Thanks, Samantha. College students aren't the only ones learning in Wallace Hall. The Child Development Center for Learning and Research is located within the building and has over 50 little ones running around, but learning while they're doing it. Leave it to Virginia Tech to expand on the normal classroom experience, investigations to stimulate interest, guided exploration that allows for decision-making, and a much-needed 2-hour quiet time. These are a few things that a normal day consists of as a student of the Child Lab on Virginia Tech's campus. Opened in 1940 as part of the Home Economics Department, the Lab School has expanded into a model preschool program for local, state, and national early childhood communities.
So we are a preschool that serves children and families 15 months up to the time that the children transition to kindergarten. We also really, we're a research-based center, so we strive to continue to contribute to the field and disseminate new and innovative information related to working with young children.
The Lab School separates itself from other preschools by giving its students a mini college experience due to the identity of the program being on a college campus. The school also works to integrate its little students with college students through collaborations to benefit both the lab and other departments at Virginia Tech. In 2005, the lab school switched from part-time to a full-time, full-year status in order to serve more of the Blacksburg community. The current hours of the school are 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and enrollment is on a first-come, first-served basis, but there's a wait list for those interested. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Morgan Conklin. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Morgan. When it comes to inventing the future for vehicle building, Virginia Tech mechanical engineering students are one step ahead. One senior design team, VT Rally, built a desert racing car for their final project. The team worked endlessly all year to create their desert racer from the ground up, improving on last year's designs of the car. Their goal was to design, fabricate, and race an off-road vehicle in the method race Wheels McLaughlin Desert Classic in Nevada. Sponsored by Ford, the company donated plenty of money to VT Rally to cover the cost of the parts.
So it's our senior design project. It's called VT Rally. It's an off-road car, and we're racing it in the desert outside Las Vegas this May. And it came out great, actually. We put a lot of work in. It's 17 guys and 3 marketing for fundraising, and I'm really proud of it.
They hope their project will demonstrate the engineering principles they learned throughout their years in the mechanical engineering program at Virginia Tech. There's more ahead in this special edition of the Newsfeed. Coming up, a look at stories of some of the ways people are serving and helping others in their communities with an attitude of Uprosum. One of the stories we'll bring you is an update on the progress local officials and groups have been making together in implementing a program to help victims of domestic violence. And according to the American Red Cross, the #1 reason most people say they give blood is because they want to help others. Coming up, we'll show you how blood donations benefit the recipients and the donors. Those stories and more are just ahead, but first, a bit of Tech trivia for you. Since its existence, Virginia Tech has operated under how many different legal names? Is it 2, 3, 4, or 5? We'll have the answer for you after this short break. Stay with us.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I was in foster care. I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hello and welcome back to the second half of this special edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Samantha Hill. In the first half of our newscast, we showed you stories about people who exemplify the motto, Invent the Future. And now we turn our attention to the stories of people living the motto, Uprosum, and what they are doing for other people and their communities. In 2015, the Lethality Assessment Program, or LAP, started in Radford. This program allowed the Women's Resource Center of the New River Valley and the Radford Police Department to work together against domestic violence. Now, the numbers are in, and the LAP is expanding to another town. When a police officer responds to a domestic violence call, the officer fills out the LAP form and puts the potential victim in contact with the Women's Resource Center. According to the Women's Resource Center, The Radford Police Department filled out 59 LEP forms. 33 of those forms were labeled high danger, 10 of which involved a person being threatened with a weapon. 29 ended up speaking with an advocate, and 7 went on to seek services like non-residential counseling or shelter. After the success of the program in Radford, the Pulaski Police Department will now use the LEP. Officer Megan Jennings says the LEP began in Pulaski earlier this month, and she believes it will be very successful.
Our chief is a driving force behind it. He wants his officers to provide the best service that we can to our citizens. And this program is kind of a natural progression in our department's commitment to better serve the citizens.
Jennings says several officers have already screened victims using the LEP. Officers will learn more about how effective Pulaski's program is compared to Radford's once more time has passed. The National Fire Protection Association reported that 1 civilian fire injury was reported every 33 minutes. These types of injuries require blood donations, and to raise awareness of their importance, the Dairy Club hosted a blood drive. Newsfeed reporter Carrie Carreras has more in this report.
The blood drive, in honor of Reese Burdett, a Virginia Tech alumni's 9-year-old daughter who was injured in a house fire, took place in Lytton Reeves Hall. Blood donation is a basic 4-step process, including registration, medical history and mini-physical, donation, and refreshments. Volunteers at the blood drive explain the history behind their cause.
The Dairy Club were really close with this one farm family called the Burdettes. They're from Virginia. They have family in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and the granddaughter, Reese Burdett, was actually in a house fire 2 years ago in May, and so she had spent almost 2 years in the hospital at Johns Hopkins, and she used a lot of blood, so one of our things, we're kind of having a blood drive in her honor to collect blood, that kind of the amount that she used, so it was just our way of giving back.
Every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood, and donation only takes about 10 to 12 minutes, with about 1 pint of blood typically given.
I wanted to volunteer today with the blood drive because I think part of the thing about being a Hokie is always following our motto, ut prosum, that I may serve. So I've spent my day here after class helping with people who've chose to volunteer and donate blood by offering them beverages and snacks and making sure it's a really positive experience for everyone. So hashtag sleeves up for Reese.
Reese received over 500 units of blood during her stay in the hospital and is now recovering at home with her dairy cow, Pantene. This is Katie Carreras reporting for the Newsfeed.
Virginia Tech students are helping maintain the local environment through a cleanup effort at a nearby creek. Newsfeed reporter Trevor Scott joins us to tell us more. Trevor?
Thanks, Samantha. Hokies looking to embody ut prosum through helping the environment need to look no further than Strubles Creek right off campus. The Virginia Tech chapter of the American Water Resources Association is one of the many organizations that helps keep the creek and areas around it clean. The group meets throughout the semester, removing plastic cups, bags, and other waste. President Kylie Campbell sees the club's work at the creek as a perfect embodiment of ut prosum.
So that's the whole point of our event. We're just trying to serve the community, serve the environment most importantly, and you know, it might be a little selfish, but serve ourselves because these are beautiful places that we love and we want to keep them beautiful.
Other Virginia Tech groups also serve the Strubles Creek area to improve the environment. Earlier this semester, the Strubles Creek Restoration Initiative planted trees along the banks of the creek and checks up on them often as possible. The poor water quality of Strubles Creek comes from the lack of vegetation, so the initiative intends on planting potentially thousands of trees in the future. The Virginia Department of Environmental Quality designated the creek impaired in 2002. Both groups hope that by working with the creek, they can help remove that distinction. I'm Trevor Scott, reporting for the Newsfeed. Back to you, Sam, at the desk.
Thanks, Trevor. And that will wrap up this special edition of the Newsfeed. The Newsfeed will be taking a break over the summer, but will be returning in September with a new group of reporters and anchors and a new crop of stories to keep you up to date about what's going on with Virginia Tech and the New River Valley area. While we are on hiatus, if you have a story idea, connect with us on Facebook or Twitter, or send us an email at thenewsfeednrb@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Hill. Enjoy the rest of your spring and have a wonderful summer.